Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at something that you use every single day and probably don't think too much about, your teeth.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty important.
And we've got some great material to help us out today. We've got some lecture slides
Okay.
and a student worksheet, actually,
Awesome.
that break down the basics of human dentition.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this earlier. What would we eat
Yeah.
if we didn't have teeth?
I don't know. It'd be a very different world, wouldn't it?
Right? How would we even talk?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, our teeth are crucial for so much more than just chewing. They play a vital role in our speech,
Yeah.
our appearance,
Right.
and even our survival, if you think about it.
Yeah, so let's get into the different kinds of teeth. I know that we have, these different types, but I'm not really sure, like, what their purpose is.
So we have, as humans, we're omnivores, right?
Yeah.
We eat plants, we eat meat, and to accommodate that very varied diet, we need a very specialized set of tools.
Right, so it's not just, like, chomping on everything.
Right, exactly. So each type of tooth has a specific function and a shape that helps us do that. So, for example, we have the incisors, which are the sharp, chisel-like teeth at the front of your mouth.
Uh-huh.
And those are perfect for, like, biting into an apple
Oh, yeah.
or taking a neat slice of pizza.
Okay, so incisors are for cutting. What about canines?
Ah, yes, the canine.
The pointy ones.
Those are, well, they might give you a spooky edge in October,
Yeah.
but their real purpose is much more practical
Uh-huh.
because they're designed for ripping and tearing, especially tougher foods like meat.
Right.
So these teeth are very, very strong, and they have the longest roots of all your teeth, which means they act like anchors
Oh, wow.
to stabilize your bite.
So those are, like, the heavy-duty
teeth.
tools in the mouth.
The heavy-duty tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would guess that we need more than just, like, cutters and rippers, though, right? We also need, like, grinders.
Oh, absolutely. We need grinders.
Yeah.
Big time. So that's where the premolars and molars come in.
Okay.
Premolars are kind of like your all-purpose teeth. They have a broader surface with cusps, those little bumps on your teeth,
Uh-huh.
and those help them handle both grinding and tearing.
Okay.
But then you have the molars, and those are the real workhorses
Okay.
at the back of your mouth because they have even more cusps than premolars, which gives them this really wide, flat surface area for crushing and grinding tough foods like nuts and seeds.
So it's like we have, like, a whole team of specialists
We
in
do.
our mouth.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Right.
Yeah.
We got the incisors for the cutting, the canines for the ripping, the premolars are like the all-rounders, and then the molars are like the real heavy-duty grinders.
Exactly, yeah. It's a beautiful symphony of chewing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this word, or these words, dental arches, and I don't really know what that means. How are teeth organized in our mouth?
Right, so think of dental arches as like the foundation of your smile. So, you have two. You have the maxillary arch, which
Okay.
is your upper jaw,
Okay.
and then you have the mandibular arch, which is your lower jaw.
Gotcha.
So it's a two-tiered system, and the lower arch moves against that fixed upper arch
Okay.
during chewing. And this movement allows for that like really awesome coordination between your different types of teeth,
Okay.
which creates what we call occlusion. Occlusion is how your upper and lower teeth fit together when you bite down.
Okay. That's like a word that I've definitely heard before, but I never really understood what it meant.
Sure, yeah. It's a very important concept in dentistry.
So it's not just about having all the right teeth, it's about how they, like, work together.
Precisely, exactly that. Having proper occlusion
Oh,
is
yeah.
so important. It's crucial for chewing efficiently, speaking clearly, and even for the overall health of your jaw joints. And in fact, did you know that misaligned teeth
Okay.
can actually lead to a whole bunch of problems? From headaches
Really?
to jaw pain. It's amazing how interconnected everything is.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing quadrants and sextants.
Yes.
Now it's starting to sound like a geometry lesson.
It might seem technical at first, but these terms are simply ways for dentists to kind of map out your mouth, which makes it easier to discuss and treat specific areas.
Okay.
Like, imagine you're a dentist examining a patient. You need a very clear way to communicate which tooth you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like giving each tooth an address.
Exactly. So we start by dividing each arch in half with
Okay.
an imaginary line called the midline. And then each half is further divided into two sections, creating 4 quadrants.
Okay.
So you have maxillary right quadrant, maxillary left quadrant, mandibular left quadrant, and mandibular right quadrant. Like imagine cutting a cake into 4 equal slices.
Right.
And each of those slices contains a specific set of teeth.
Gotcha. And then what are sextants?
So sextants divide the mouth into 6 sections, which provides even more specific locations.
So even further than quadrants.
Exactly. So like zooming in on our map, if you will.
Yeah.
So we have maxillary right posterior, maxillary anterior, maxillary left posterior.
Okay, so we're going even more specific.
Exactly. And then on the lower arch, you have mandibular left posterior, mandibular anterior, and mandibular right posterior.
Why do dentists need both, like quadrants and sextants?
Well, it depends on the level of detail needed, right? Sometimes a quadrant is specific enough, but other times a dentist might need to pinpoint a smaller area within a quadrant.
Okay.
And that's where sextants come in.
So it's like, I don't know, like having a street map.
Exactly.
And then like a zoomed in satellite image.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah. Now this makes a lot more sense. Now what about anterior and posterior?
Oh, that one is actually pretty simple.
Yeah.
Anterior just means towards the front and posterior means towards the back.
Okay.
Think about what you see when someone smiles. Those pearly whites, those are their anterior teeth. They're incisors and canines, the ones that take center stage.
Okay. So anterior are like the stars of the show.
Exactly.
And posterior are like the ones working hard behind the scenes.
Exactly. Yeah. Your premolars and molars, the grinding specialists, those are your posterior teeth.
Okay.
And they may not be as visible.
Yeah.
But their role is absolutely essential.
Right. It's amazing how like our mouths are like these perfectly organized factories.
They are.
With each tooth.
Well-oiled machines.
Right.
Yeah.
Having a specific role in processing the food that we eat.
Exactly. And this division, between the anterior and posterior teeth actually helps us understand how different surfaces of our teeth interact during chewing.
Ooh. So are we about to get into like tooth surfaces? Because I have a feeling this is where things get like a little bit more technical.
It does get more detailed.
Okay.
But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step. And, understanding these terms can actually really help you decode conversations at the dentist's office and, like, be more involved in your own oral health.
Perfect. I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so let's talk tooth surfaces. I'm ready.
All right, so imagine you're looking at a tooth straight on the surface facing you, the one you brush every morning. That's called the facial surface.
Okay.
Now, it gets a little more specific. For your front teeth, the incisors and canines, the facial surface that faces your lips is called the labial surface.
Labial lips. Okay, that's pretty easy to remember.
Exactly. And for the teeth further back, the premolars and molars, the facial surface facing your cheeks, is called the buccal surface.
Buccal cheeks.
Oh.
Okay, got it. So labial for the front, buccal for the back. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Now let's flip that tooth around.
Okay.
The surface facing your tongue, that's called the lingual surface.
Lingual tongue. Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
You got it.
It's all about location.
Exactly. So now imagine you're looking down at your teeth from above the chewing surface where all the action happens.
Yeah.
That has different names depending on the tooth. So for your front teeth, the biting edge is called the incisal surface.
Incisors. Okay, makes sense. And for the back teeth, the ones that do the grinding.
That's the occlusal surface. That's that wide, flat surface of your molars and premolars that comes into contact with the opposing teeth when you chew.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good with facial, lingual, incisal, and occlusal.
Okay.
What about the sides of the teeth?
Good question. So the side of your tooth that's closer to the midline, that imaginary line dividing your mouth in half, that's called the mesial surface.
Mesial midline. All right, I can remember that.
And the side further away from the midline is called the distal surface.
Distal distance. Okay, got it. So if the mesial side of one tooth is touching the distal side of another tooth, what do we call that?
That is the proximal surface. So that's the surface where teeth are next to each other.
Okay.
And you know that tiny space between them where your floss goes to work? That's the interproximal space.
So that's what that's called. I never knew there was a special name for that.
It's all about the details.
Right.
Now, even the root of the tooth, the part hidden beneath your gums, has specific names for its different sections.
Okay.
We won't go into too much detail here, but it's interesting to know that dentists divide the root into thirds. The apical third, the middle third, and the cervical third.
Gotcha.
And this helps them really pinpoint problems and discuss treatment with accuracy.
Wow. Who knew there was so much to know about, like, tooth anatomy? It's like a whole secret world
It really is.
hidden inside our mouths.
Absolutely. And, understanding these terms can really empower you to take better care of your teeth because you'll be able to understand what your dentist is talking about and ask, like, more informed questions.
For sure, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to our health.
Yeah.
But, we've been talking about adult teeth this whole time.
Right.
What about baby teeth? Like, I remember when I was a kid, like those tiny little chompers falling out. What makes those different from our permanent teeth?
It's a great question. It's fascinating how our teeth change throughout our lives. We start with those adorable baby teeth, also known as primary or deciduous teeth, which eventually make way for our adult set.
So why do we even have baby teeth in the first place? Why not just start with the adult set?
Well, think about it. A child's jaw is much smaller than an adult's, right? So those 20 baby teeth are perfectly sized and spaced for a growing child,
Right.
and they help them chew, speak, and develop their facial structure. But as the child grows, the jaw expands, and those adult teeth that are waiting patiently beneath the gums need space to erupt.
It's like a carefully choreographed dental dance.
It really is.
So what happens to the baby teeth? Do they just, like, magically disappear?
Not quite. So remember how we talked about the root of a tooth?
Yeah.
As a child grows, the roots of their baby teeth start to dissolve, a process called resorption. And this weakens the tooth, causing it to become loose and eventually fall out.
So it just, like, knows what to do.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So we have 20 baby teeth.
Yeah.
And then a full set of 32 adult teeth.
Exactly. And the composition of those sets is a bit different, too. Children don't have premolars in their primary dentition.
Okay.
And they're also missing those infamous wisdom teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Which are technically your third molars.
Right, the wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
Those seem to cause a lot of trouble for people. Why is that?
Well, wisdom teeth don't usually erupt until late adolescence or early adulthood.
Yeah.
And by then, a lot of people just don't have enough room in their jaws for those extra molars.
Right.
And this can lead to impaction, where the wisdom teeth kind of get stuck and can cause pain, infection, or even damage to neighboring teeth.
So it's like they show up late to the party and there's just no room.
Exactly.
Why do we even have them if they can cause so many problems?
Well, that's a question that has puzzled scientists for years.
Really?
Yeah, one theory is that our ancestors, with their diets of tougher, unprocessed foods, they needed those extra molars for chewing.
Right.
But as our diets changed and our jaws became smaller, wisdom teeth became less essential.
Right.
And for some, they've become more of a nuisance than a benefit.
It's so interesting how our, like, evolution is still playing out.
I know.
In our mouths.
Yeah.
But what about, like, their names? Are baby teeth labeled the same way?
They're similar, but there's a slight difference.
Okay.
Both sets have incisors, canines, and molars, but baby teeth are labeled with letters instead of numbers.
Oh, okay.
And they go from A to T.
So it's like a whole separate alphabet.
It is.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and this helps dentists, of course, keep track of which teeth are which.
Makes sense.
Especially when charting and discussing both primary and permanent teeth.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've explored the different types of teeth, how they're organized into arches, quadrants, sextants. We even dove into the intricate world of tooth surfaces.
We did.
And we uncovered the mysteries of baby teeth.
Yeah.
And how they paved the way for our adult smiles. I feel like a dental expert.
You should.
But I'm sure you have more insights to share.
Well, yeah, actually.
What else can we learn from our sources about the amazing world of human dentition?
Well, we've talked about how our teeth help us chew and how their shape reflects our evolutionary history. But what about their role in speech?
Oh, absolutely. Our teeth, they play a vital role in how we speak, especially in forming certain sounds.
Right.
Think about, for example, how you pronounce letters like F, D, or V, S, or even S. Your tongue actually interacts with your teeth to create those precise sounds. Oh, wow. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So it's like our teeth are like these tiny instruments helping us shape like the sounds of language.
Exactly. They're an essential part of what we call our vocal apparatus, working together with your tongue, your lips, your vocal cords to produce that incredible range of sounds that make up human speech.
That is incredible how everything like works together.
Yeah.
We've gone from thinking about teeth as like these, simple tools for chewing to really understanding them as these like multifaceted components of our biology, influencing everything from our diet and our evolution to our ability to communicate.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of our bodies, doesn't it?
It does.
Every part has a role to play, and oftentimes those roles overlap and influence each other in really fascinating ways.
Absolutely. I'm feeling like a newfound sense of awe for my own mouth.
I love that.
But I think as much as I'm enjoying this dental deep dive, I think we've pretty much exhausted our sources.
I think we have.
You know, we've really explored every nook and cranny of human dentition from the crown to the root, everything in between.
We really have. It's been a very comprehensive deep dive.
It has, but I'm sure you have some final thought.
I do.
To leave us with.
Yeah.
For our listeners.
I always like to have a little something to ponder at the end.
Right.
So now that you have this deeper understanding of your teeth, all the different types, their functions, their surfaces, even their role in speech.
Right.
I want you to take a moment and really appreciate the intricate design of your mouth. Every bite you take, every word you speak, it's really a testament to the amazing capabilities of the human body.
That is beautifully put. It's like our mouths are these tiny, perfectly engineered machines working tirelessly to keep us alive and thriving.
And like any machine, they need proper care and maintenance to function at their best.
Absolutely. So brush, floss, visit your dentist regularly.
Yes.
And give your teeth the love that they deserve.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
They are, after all, essential partners in this journey we call life.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that wraps up our deep dives into the fascinating world of human dentition. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
On this journey of discovery. Until next time, keep those pearly whites shining bright.